So we're going to do the lesson on formulas and percents. It's 11 questions long. And the first couple questions are review questions. It says this is the 5th easiest homework in the course. The average student takes about 25 minutes to do this homework. If you take more than an hour, please contact your instructor. It's the first section on applications. So if you struggle with word problems or percent application, you should watch the video. The video is found by pressing videos and scorecard. It's the video that you're watching right now. There is another set of videos that explain the lessons without actually doing the homework assignments. And then make sure you do your study plan. It's worth 15% of your grade. Okay. Let's go. Let's get what's going on. Here we go. Our first assignment question that we're going to do is to solve for a letter. Well, in last assignment, do you remember that we talked about solving by addition and multiplication? Remember that you always do the add and subtract to both sides, and then you do the multiply and divide both sides. So, in this case, we've got to take care of the b in this equation. A equals g m b. Since there are no additions, we can go right to the multiplications. The b is what we want to get all alone, and the way to do that is to divide both sides by gm. And then we get b equals a over gm. So they want us to put the a over gm into this. So we make a fraction, put the a on the top, and gm on the bottom. For some reason, students struggle with these because they're so used to solving for numbers. Just pretend that the letters are numbers and you shouldn't have any problems. Let's look at this next one. Once again, we have to solve. This time we're solving for h. So we copy down the equation. T equals 4h plus 4u. Since they've got an addition, we can take care of that first by subtracting 4u from each side. And we get t minus 4u equals 4h. Those 4u's on that side cancel. Now we can divide both sides by 4 to get the h all alone, and so our fraction is fraction t minus, I forgot what it was again, t minus 4u over 4. T minus 4u over 4. Next one. Okay, this time we're solving for y. Now actually, this is one of the many times in your algebra that you're going to be solving for y. This equation, when it's in two variables like that, is actually called the standard form. When you have the x and the y both on the same side, we want to switch it to the intercept slope form by getting the y all alone. So 2x plus 9y equals 18. First thing we're going to do is subtract 2x from each side. And when we do, we get 9y equals, make sure you put the 2x first, because we always like to end with the constant term, the 18 in this case. Now divide both sides by 9. It says simplify your answer, use integers or fractions for any numbers in the expression. So I think what it wants us to do is to say y equals negative 2/9 x plus 2, because 18 divided by 9 is 2.
Let's try it and see. Y equals negative fraction key 2/9 x plus, I think it was plus, yep, plus 2. Next one. Okay, so what is the process for solving word applications? Let's go through the steps. The first step is to read the question. The second step is to write down the answer form. The third step is to write down what you know. The fourth step is to solve that equation and then check your answer. See if it makes sense. So let's look at this one. A race car driver won a 200-mile race with a speed of 198 miles per hour. Find the driver's time. So T equals time. Now, we need to know a formula that isn't in the problem, and that formula is distance is rate times time. Well, here's our distance. Here's our rate. So we can substitute in 200 equals 198 t. How do we get the t all alone? Divide both sides by 198. It says type an integer or a decimal. So on our calculator, we would type 200 divided by 198. And we get 100 over 99, but it wants it as a fraction, not as a or as a decimal, not as a fraction. So my calculator says 1.01. That means that the 0 and the 1 are repeated over and over again. So it's actually 1.0101 ... It wants it to the nearest thousandth. Here's the thousandths place, so we'll say 1.010 as our answer. 1.010 hours. And let's see if that makes sense. Yep, number 6. Another word application. This time it's dealing with Fahrenheit and Celsius temperatures. I still remember when we were in Canada one time and my daughter said, well, the high is supposed to be 20. What should we wear? And I said, hey, you know algebra, you figure it out for yourself. So I gave them the formula and they had to figure it out for themselves. Just exactly like this is. Here's their temperature, 20 Celsius. So we're looking for Fahrenheit equals. Let's substitute in what we know. F equals 9/5 parentheses 20 plus 32. So let's press it on our calculator. Fraction 9 over 5 times 20 plus 32 equals, and my calculator says 68. So with that day that it was 19, my daughters should have been able to wear jeans, but what actually happened was that the weather forecaster guy was wrong, and so we were wearing these jeans, and it was so hot. Oh, it was miserable. Okay. Number 7. Now you need to know the formula for the area of a circle. Perhaps now would be a good time to, on the side of your notes, write down some of the formulas for geometry. And there are a couple listed. I believe they are listed in our assignment. Maybe not. Where are they? No, don't see them. Actually, they do have them listed on page 62 in your book perimeter of a triangle is adding up the three sides. Perimeter of a rectangle is twice the width plus twice the length. Volume of a rectangle is length times width times height. Area of a rectangle is length times width. Area of a triangle is 1/2 length times width. That's for a triangle. And then area of a circle is pi times radius squared. And circumference of a circle is twice pi times the radius. Now, actually, the problem that we've got here is the circumference. The circumference of a certain coin is 12 pi. What is the radius? So R equals, and we need to know D equals also. Circumference is 2 pi R. That's what the formula says. Well, here it says the circumference. So we have 12 pi centimeters equals 2 pi radius. Notice there's a pi on both sides, so let's first of all divide both sides by pi. And then, since we want to find out what the radius is, we can divide both sides by 2, and we get 6 centimeters is the radius. Now, the diameter, so it's 6 centimeters halfway across. How far is it all the way across? Will be 12 centimeters. So we'll say 6 is the radius and 12 is the diameter. Some people really struggle with percents, so let's make sure we know how to do it. One of the things that you might want to do is, in your notes, give the formula that's on page 60, which says the partial amount over the base is the percent, or the rate. The rate's going to always have a percent sign with it. The base is usually connected with the word of, okay? And then the part, some people say take the little number divided by the bigger number, but that's not necessarily true, because you could have a bigger denominator or bigger numerator than denominator. So we want to know what is the rate, and let's copy down the formula. Part over base equals rate. Okay? A salesman's commission earns a commission of $154. So in this case, the commission is the part. So we'll say $154 on a $2,200 worth of TVs. What is the rate? So on our calculator, when we press that, we would press, where did my calculator go? There it is. We would press 154 divided by 2200. Now my calculator says 7/100ths, but I'm going to switch that to a decimal, which is 0.07. Now the important thing is to notice they want that answer as a percent. Remember, when you're going from decimals to percents, you move the decimal place 2 places. When you're going from percent to decimal, you move it back those 2 places. So decimals to percent, we move the decimal point 2 places towards the right. 1, 2, our answer will be 7%. Okay, number 9. Another percent problem. One of the reasons why people don't like this kind of problem is they see these millions. Well, why don't you cross off millions, since both of them are in millions, and that would be just like dividing by millions anyway. That'll help you. What is the percent? So we're looking for the rate, because remember, rate is a percent. In 2006, 11.7 million households own at least one TV. About 58.6 million own 3 or more TV sets. What percent of those owning at least one TV was this? So we want the of to be those owning one TV. So that's the base. Base is the one TV people. 111.7 million. Okay, and then 58.6 million. Now, as I said, you can cancel the millions on the top and the bottom, and so the rate will be 58.6 divided by 111.7, and you get a decimal 0.5246 and so on. We want it to the nearest integer. So how many percent is that? Well, remember, if you're going from decimals to percents, move the decimal point 2 places over, and so we get 52%. Now make sure you round correctly. That one I didn't have to worry about it because it was rounded. It was 0.46. Okay, pie charts. The reason that pie charts are kind of cool is it tells us what the total amount is. In this case, it totals 100%. The average middle-income family will spend $242,250 to raise a child born in 2004 from birth to age 17. Man alive, I've had to spend over $1 million on kids according to this. Actually, if you notice, most of that is housing. 32% is housing. So, and plus I make them walk all the time, so that's why my transportation is probably lower. Maybe I starve them a little bit too, and that's why maybe that gets lower too. Anyway, let's get on with the graph here. To the nearest dollar, how much will be spent on transportation? Okay, so what we need to know is the dollars of transportation. Okay, well, they tell us it's 16%. That's the rate. The total amount is $242,250. Now, the problem that we have in this case is we want to know how much is spent on transportation. The easiest way to solve this one is to multiply both sides by $242,250. 24250. So let's take 0.16, okay, 0.16 times 242,250. It says to the nearest dollar, we spend $38,760 on transportation in that many years. And let's see if that makes sense. Well, 17 years. So I'm going to divide that by 17 years and see that it costs us about $22,000 or $2,200 for transporting a kid around. Yeah, I'd say that's about right. Check your answer. Let's go on. Oops, I'm sorry. Let's go on. Last question. In April 2008, an audio CD was available for $8.69. Nowadays, you can just get an EP and you don't have to buy those audio CDs. The list price was $12.15. What was the percent discount? So we want the discount. Okay? And we want it as a percent, so it's going to be the rate. The rate is always based on the full price. So the full price is going to go on the bottom, and not the new price, but the discount is going to go on the top. Okay, so the full price is $12.15. People would be tempted to put $8.69 on the top. That's the amount that it's off. I'm sorry, that's the sale price. So the amount that it's off is $12.15 minus $8.69. So let's press that on our calculator, And to do that, we could use the fraction key. 12.15 minus 8.69 divided by 12.15 equals, and we get 346 over 1215, which we wanted as a decimal, and my calculator says 2.28477, and all of these digits repeat. Okay, we want it to the one decimal place, so it'll be 28 point, how many percent? Well, the 4 has to be rounded up because the 7 follows it, so we'll say 28.5%. 28.5. Now the question is, does that answer make sense? Is it about 28% off? Looks good to me. And that's today's assignment.